I don't know if this may end up being a short one, I'm not sure. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about the idea of identity, your personal identity. We've discussed this in part in the past in more general terms, but I want to speak to you on the idea of it in specific relation to your, relationships. See, life changes all of the time. And as things come into our lives and leave our lives, we add them into the kind of sphere of influence, the sphere of identity. And this is mine, I am part of it. My collection is part of who I am. My wife is part of who I am. My house is part of who I am. These are the things that tell the external world who I am. And the question you have to ask yourself, the real, truly honest question you have to ask yourself is, if I lost everything, and I mean everything physical, tangible, external, if I lost everything, it's the desert island scenario. If I were dropped off on a desert island with nothing, by myself, what would be left? Who would I be? The obvious answer is you're still you, but without your house and your car, without your music and movie collection, without your book collection, without your spouse, without your friends, without your job, your work associations, who are you? This is the eternal question. Who are you? Does your job define you? Don't let it. Does your name define you? Don't let it. Does your collection define you? Don't let it. The famous Fight Club line, you are not your khakis. It's that idea, Babylon 5, the Sebastian comes in to question Delenn and he says, who are you? And she says, well, I'm Delenn. And he says, no, that is just your name. Who are you? Well, I was a member of the Great Council. No, that was just a job title. Who are you? I don't know that there's an answer. I don't know that there's a solid answer anywhere. I mean, there's certainly not an objective answer. It's an entirely subjective answer in and of itself. But the question really is, and you have to ask yourself and explore this on your own, who are you? It's inevitable that you will come to identify with the things in your external environment. You really can't live life without that. But you also have to understand that those things are in a fluid state. There will be turbulent times. There will be times when the fluid runs dry, where the riverbed is gone, and there will be times of flooding where you are just overflowing. Think of it like a river. Your relationships, your identity is constantly in a state of flow and flux and transition. It is not a steady state thing. And you need to understand that when you say, this is who I am, this is who I am, that may change tomorrow. Jesus Christ, Sophia. I love my cats. I do. We fix the boys because they're the big danger, but honestly, fix the females too, so you don't have to deal with that. And that's the thing, I identify heavily with my cats. My cats are part of who I am. The feline expression is part of who I am. It's part of what I grew up with. I grew up with cats. I grew up watching He-Man, who had a big cat. I liked the Beastmaster, who had a big cat. It's, Thundercats was one of my favorite shows growing up. They're all cats. It's part of the identity that I've built around myself. But if I were to suddenly be in a place where there were no cats, what would be left? I don't know if I have an honest answer for you there. I know I would feel pretty empty. The last cat that I had that passed on left me feeling really fucking empty for days, and that was one cat. I still had 2 more. I have 5 cats now, and if I were to all of a sudden lose them, I can tell you when I take a trip, when I take a vacation, because I know that they're there, I don't feel that loss or anything. So the physical separation is not the issue, it's the emotional connection and separation. It's knowing that it will be there when you return to your normal life. And that's the thing, we associate these transitional, these fluid states with what is normal, what is stable. And it may be stable for a time. But in the example of cats, cats live 12, 15, sometimes 20 years. I've heard of even a 30-year-old cat. But for the most part, you will outlive your pets, unless you have a Galapagos tortoise. And even then, maybe. But the idea is that you will outlive your pets. Oftentimes, generally speaking, most people don't die together, and that being the case, you will likely outlive your relationship, or at least, if it's a monogamous relationship, you have a 50-50 chance of being the one that outlives. So the question is, who are you? Who are you without that thing? I can tell you that when my family broke up, I was already an adult, and it tore me apart because I was the one that grew up with the whole family. I was the one that grew up with the happy household. We weren't rich, but we had a decent place to live and food on the table and nice things, and it became part of my identity. And 25 years later, it was no longer part of my identity. Never mind that I had already moved out from home. It was no longer any of my concern. And it took me time. It took me several months to just accept that I was not going to be able to change that circumstance. But accepting that the things that are outside of your control, you really just shouldn't worry about, is a huge weight off your back. Because once I accepted the fact that I was not going to be able to stitch my parents back together, you know what happened? I felt okay. And I was able to move on because I didn't need that piece of identity anymore. It took me some time to get over it. And you will hurt and you will feel bad, but it took me some time to get over it, but I got over it. And I hate the term get over it. It's so dismissive. But I dealt with it. And I learned how to deal with it, and I learned to accept the simple fact that there are some things that are outside of your control, and the things that are outside of your control, you just let them happen, you react to them appropriately, logically, and things are generally okay. It's just the way of it. Sometimes you can't salvage a relationship. It's okay. Yes, it's going to hurt for a while. You're going to be angry. You're going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. Allow it to happen and move on. Because at the end of the day, you were born alone. You're going to die alone. So who are you alone? Your kids are going to move out of the house. Who are you alone? Your pets are going to die before you. Who are you alone? You can't take any of your stuff with you. So who are you without all of that stuff? If none of that stuff goes with you when you go, that means that it is not that connected to you. So who are you alone? Individuality matters. And I swear to you, that is one of the biggest reasons that in this day and age with a terrible divorce rate, is one of the reasons why Elizabeth and I have made it to 10 years, because we have been able to maintain our individuality and personal freedom throughout the relationship. And I am very emotionally attached to Elizabeth, and it would shatter me if I lost her. But by the same token, I know for a fact that without Elizabeth, I am still Solomon. That I am still the person who I was before she came into my life, and that if anything happens where she exits my life before I die, that I will be able to continue on, no matter how difficult it is at first. Because I am an individual first and foremost. Yes, we are social creatures. Hands down, we are social creatures, and it is a proven fact that people need relationships. To different degrees, different volumes, different intensities, but people need relationships to thrive. But this does not mean that you cease identifying as an individual. You must always identify as an individual first. Once that is accomplished, then you can identify with anything else externally, secondarily, tertiarily. You can identify with other things in a flow state basis once you accept that the one thing that you have everywhere you go is you. Everything else changes, and technically even you are changing constantly. Even your ideas are changing, so everywhere you go, you may find that your ideas abandon you, or new ideas invade. It happens. So understand that all you have is you, and sometimes not even that. So who are you as an individual? Who are you alone? Because that's what matters. Once you have that, you have the whole world. The best advice I was given, because I was in utter emotional torment when I was ending high school and beginning college, that I could not get a girlfriend for the life of me. And a friend of mine who had been successfully dating the same person for a couple of years at that point once said, well, look, it sounds like you're trying to have this other person, whoever this person is, to complete you. She's like, you know what, you got to be happy with yourself first. Nobody else can make you happy. You know what, it's the best fucking advice I have ever gotten. Because about a year after she told me that, not even a year, I found Elizabeth. Because I was finally comfortable enough to be an individual, to stop trying to find somebody to complete me, but to be complete and whole in and of myself. Because as a complete individual, that was what allowed me to see in Elizabeth what I needed to say, hey, I would like you to be part of my life. Instead of saying, hey, I need you to be my life. That doesn't work. People don't want that. Well, except some particularly imbalanced people. But people don't want that. They don't want that kind of neediness and over-connection and this joined at the hip thing. They want, I want you as part of my life. I need you to be there as support. I need you to be there as help, as friendship, as companionship, as a lover, as a comrade, whatever. But never look to someone as, I'm only a part of a person and I need you to fit this puzzle piece because, because without you, I'm nothing. Being so, not even unsure, being so just desperately incomplete psychologically is a turnoff for people. You need, and this isn't just for lover type relationships, this is for relationships in general. Don't be the needy friend. don't be the person that necessarily shuns everybody either, but don't be the needy friend. Don't be the one that's constantly, I need attention, I need attention, I need attention. No, be the person that says, hey, want to go bowling? Oh, okay, talk to you next time. Hey, want to come watch a movie? Hey, great, I'll make the popcorn, or whatever. So, understand that it's your individuality, it's your identity as you alone that matters. I'm going to shut up now because I've been going on for 16 minutes. I will talk to you guys later. Good journey.